a lot of my clients are people that were following people like Eckhart Tolle, right? For years, some of them. They've been practicing their teachings and read their books and stuff like that, all right? Now, the question I get and the question I want to tackle now is why someone like Eckhart Tolle won't wake you up, why you won't realize enlightenment, call it however you like, why you won't quit searching with someone like Eckhart Tolle. Well, first things first. I don't mean no harm towards him or towards anyone here. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with following their teachings, okay? Whatever appeals to you is what appeals to you, and there's no control over that ultimately. So it's just what happens. So there's nothing wrong with it. And I mean no harm at all, basically, saying what I'm going to say. Now, however, he insists on practicing what he calls awareness, practicing presence, the power of now, etc., etc. And so, if you look at his videos, for example, or his teachings, his talks, he will tell a story, basically, of something, take an example of something that might happen, okay, nothing wrong with that, great, okay, so that people can relate. Again, brilliant, sure, great. Then you relate, and he tells you, you see, in that situation, here's what you do, now here's what you need to do. Now, I'm not saying it's those words exactly, but the idea is this, is that you need to practice something. Now, that brings a lot of people to the search, to the so-called spiritual path, to the search for enlightenment, the search for perfection, call it however you like, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that, but it can only bring you so far because ultimately it brings you nowhere. And I can't be clearer on this, alright? Nowhere. I don't mean maybe it helps a little bit here or there. No, ultimately it doesn't. Now, you may experience that it helps you because you see, you may be looking for a relief, for something that you will understand, and oh, here's a little breakthrough, and here's a little breakthrough, and here's a realization, okay? Again, there is nothing wrong with that. But that keeps you searching, because it entertains, it maintains the idea that there is something to do, or that there is something to achieve, that you are not already so-called perfect, that there is something wrong with you. It maintains these beliefs that you may have. And that's why it doesn't work. That's why people ultimately do not wake up with Eckhart Tolle. Now, sure, he's reached millions and millions of people, so statistically, I'm sure some people have woken up, for lack of a better word, with him, yes. But that's why so many are hooked to basically go on his practices and then practice, and then you have to keep going deeper. And you have to be more present, more alert, more vigilant, right? And so this very practice, and then you have to meditate in a certain way. And then if the situation arises, oh my God, here's what I need to do. And oh, that sounds so true. And oh yeah, it works. And here's this idea, it works. There is something to achieve. I have reached something which I didn't get before. And all of that maintains the search. It maintains this belief that there is something to do that won't ever work, simply because there is nothing to look for. There is nothing to realize. Now, I'm not saying that there shouldn't or there won't be realizations, okay? We have to use words, once again, labels. But these realizations are just what they are. Something pops up and, oh, that's it, that makes sense. Looking for this is what keeps you searching, is what keeps you suffering. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm not telling you not to follow his teachings or someone else's teachings, or I'm not telling my teachings are better. I'm saying I'm not teaching you anything. I'm not telling you something which you don't already intuitively know. And when I say no, it's just, yeah, you hear the truth of what I'm saying, basically. And no, nothing that I'm saying is truth itself, because guess what? There is no truth. And that's what I'm saying ultimately. There really is nothing to look for. Looking for it is chasing your own tail. Being more present, being more active as opposed to reactive, things like that he uses as well. It just doesn't work because there's nothing to find. But you see, the thing is, your brain now might go, well, there must be something to find. There must be this enlightenment thing. And yes, ultimately you can say there is enlightenment. It's that apparent, and I insist on apparent realization that there is nothing to find and no one to look for it. There's just only what is, and what is appears to no one. looking for the ego again, or the ego should be a certain way and the ego is the issue. All of that imagination, thoughts coming and going, and there's nothing to do to realize that, to so-called realize it, because you can't help it, whether you realize it or not, because there is no you to realize it. But of course, so long as you keep searching, so long as you keep practicing something, the experience that you will have, that you will experience, is the experience of something missing, of something to look for, of getting better and better at something. And that keeps you in the loop. That keeps you in the very loop of searching. Good luck with that. It just doesn't work because there is nothing to find. Again, you may react right now as now, it's not possible. Or, oh, I know that already. Things like that. But really, do you? Because if you keep searching, it's because you don't know that. But you don't know that because there's nothing to know. Because even that is not something to know. It's just another pointer, another pointless pointer, another talk, another blah blah blah, to tell you guys, come on, what are you doing? There really is nothing to find. And that may appear as an apparent realization. It's very laughable when you realize that all you've been doing was for nothing. And yes, that can be very, very freeing. Because really, there was nothing to find.